A real estate agent is not just someone who opens doors. The process works because a good agent helps price, market, qualify, negotiate, coordinate paperwork, manage deadlines, and reduce mistakes. You can see it when a seller avoiding a weak buyer because the agent checks financing before accepting the offer. This matters because the agent's value is often in the problems prevented. Agents usually represent one side of a transaction. The hidden lever is that a listing agent works for the seller, while a buyer's agent helps the buyer search, evaluate, and offer. For example, a buyer assuming the friendly listing agent is advising them, when that agent's duty may be to the seller. So the useful takeaway is that representation matters because incentives differ. Pricing support is a major seller service. The moving part is this. Agents compare recent sold properties, active competition, property condition, and market momentum. A simple example is an agent warning that a high dream price will waste the first 2 weeks of listing attention. The result is that good pricing advice balances optimism with evidence. Marketing turns the property into a clear story. What changes the outcome is that photos, descriptions, floor plans, videos, portals, signs, and buyer targeting shape first impressions. A realistic case is a family home being marketed around school access and storage instead of generic luxury language. That is why the right buyer needs to recognize the fit quickly. Agents filter inquiries. In real life, not every viewer is qualified, serious, available, or aligned with the property. One ordinary version is an agent separating casual browsers from buyers who already have deposit and mortgage approval. The practical lesson is that screening saves time and protects negotiation energy. For buyers, agents can translate listings into reality. Under the surface, they point out building issues, location drawbacks, service fees, resale concerns, and negotiation room. Think of a buyer loving a cheap unit until the agent explains the high maintenance fees and weak parking. The viewer should remember that a low price is not always a good deal. Agents arrange viewings, but the real work is observation. The practical engine is simple. They notice buyer reactions, repeated objections, and which features create urgency. Picture several viewers praising the layout but hesitating over road noise, signaling a pricing issue. Once you see that, feedback from viewings should adjust strategy. Negotiation is more than haggling. Mechanically, price, deposit, repairs, closing date, furniture, financing conditions, and inspection terms can all be traded. This shows up when a seller accepting a slightly lower price because the buyer offers a clean closing with no delay. That small detail changes the decision because the best deal may be the safest whole package, not the highest headline number. Agents manage emotion during high-stakes decisions. The process works because buyers can panic about losing a home, and sellers can take feedback personally. You can see it when a seller getting angry at a low offer until the agent explains comparable sales calmly. This matters because emotional control can protect money. Paperwork coordination is a practical value. The hidden lever is that contracts, disclosures, identification, financing letters, title documents, inspections, and transfer steps must align. For example, a missing document delaying closing until the agent chases the correct office. So the useful takeaway is that transactions fail when small administrative details are ignored. Commission affects incentives. The moving part is this. Agents are often paid only if the deal closes, which can encourage effort but may also create pressure to complete a transaction. A simple example is a buyer needing to remember that advice should still be judged independently. The result is that understanding compensation helps you interpret recommendations clearly. Not all agents add the same value. What changes the outcome is that experience, local knowledge, honesty, responsiveness, and negotiation judgment vary widely. A realistic case is 2 agents listing similar homes, but one knows the building's buyer pool and prices accurately. That is why choosing the agent is part of the strategy. Local knowledge can beat broad information. In real life, an agent may know which tower has lift issues, which street floods, or which school zone attracts families. One ordinary version is a buyer avoiding a beautiful unit because the agent knows the service charges are about to rise. The practical lesson is that specific local facts can change the deal. Agents also work with networks. Under the surface, mortgage brokers, inspectors, photographers, lawyers, movers, and other agents can speed the process. Think of a seller getting professional photos and inspection repair advice before listing. The viewer should remember that a strong network can reduce friction. A buyer or seller should ask direct questions. The practical engine is simple. How the agent prices, communicates, handles offers, screens buyers, and reports feedback reveals professionalism. Picture asking for a sample market analysis before signing a listing agreement. Once you see that, good agents can explain their process without hiding behind charm. Red flags include vague pricing, pressure tactics, poor follow-up, and promises without evidence. Mechanically, real estate decisions are too expensive for blind trust. This shows up when an agent guaranteeing a high sale price without showing recent comparable sales. That small detail changes the decision because confidence without evidence can cost money. The best agent relationship is clear and practical. The process works because you should know who they represent, how they are paid, what they will do, and how success is measured. You can see it when a seller agreeing on weekly feedback reports and price review dates before listing. This matters because clear expectations prevent frustration later. Real estate agents work by reducing uncertainty in a complex transaction. The hidden lever is that they cannot change the market, but they can improve preparation, exposure, negotiation, and execution. For example, the right agent helps you avoid overpricing, weak buyers, missed documents, and emotional decisions. So the useful takeaway is that their real job is not opening the door, it is helping you get through the deal intelligently. A real estate agent's job is not only to open doors. A good agent helps price the property, find buyers, arrange viewings, negotiate terms, manage documents, coordinate deadlines, and keep the deal moving. The work becomes visible when something goes wrong. A low appraisal, inspection issue, financing delay, or nervous buyer. For sellers, the agent's value often begins with positioning. That means comparing recent sales, understanding buyer demand, choosing a pricing strategy, preparing the home, and marketing it clearly. Overpricing can waste time. Underpricing can leave money on the table. The agent helps choose a price that attracts attention without ignoring market reality. For buyers, the agent helps filter noise. A buyer may see beautiful photos but miss weak resale value, awkward layout, future repair costs, or negotiation leverage. The agent can point out practical issues, compare alternatives, and guide the offer. The best agents do not simply push a purchase. They help the buyer understand the trade-offs. Real estate agents work best when incentives, trust, and local knowledge line up. They are paid through the transaction, so clients should still ask questions and understand the process. A strong agent makes the deal clearer, not more mysterious. They turn a complicated property decision into a sequence of steps the client can actually follow.